Recently, I got the chance to play Code Vein 2 at a hands-on preview event thanks to Bandai Namco, and I must say it is absolutely phenomenal. As a major fan of the first game, I cannot even begin to explain my gratitude for being able to show you guys early footage of the second one. Code Vein has always meant so much to me. In fact, it's one of my favorite games in general, not just favorite anime games, and now I get to show you the second one. So without further ado, let's get into it. The first things I do want to talk about, though, is the character customization. Now, I didn't really get to record the character customization because naturally I was just kind of speeding my way into the preview. I just wanted to play the game so bad, I barely remade my character from the first game. But the character customization is probably what you'll spend most of your time playing this game, other than dying, of course, because it's just Souls-like. So, yeah, it's actually really good. The character customization in Code Vein 1 was phenomenal, and in 2, I can openly say very proudly, it is much better than it was in the first game. It is leaps and bounds better. It's great. One of the best anime game customizers just in general, so you can pretty much just get Code Vein 2 if you just want to make a cool looking character. So yeah, second of all, the gameplay. The gameplay is really, really good, and I'm going to take you guys through my journey through the preview event. And I'm going to say for now, the Sword and Claw is my favorite combo. It's what I used throughout basically most of Code Vein 1. It's just my favorite, so you'll see me use it the most. But I did actually try out every weapon and every blood veil, and I also used every single like skill that was available, and I didn't do this because I wanted to show them off. I actually just wanted to use everything because, again, massive Code Vein fanboy here. I just wanted to use anything, but thankfully, thanks to my obsession with Code Vein, you guys will get to see everything, and you can only do that on the Dojo channel, so you might as well just leave a like right now. Okay. Without further ado, let's get into this. The first weapon I actually did try out was the Rune Blades. The Rune Blade is an entirely new weapon type to Code Vein 2. It was not in the first game at all, and I have to say, this is one of the cooler weapons by far in the game. It kind of reminds me of, I guess, like funnels from Gundam, the way they follow you around as you attack and stuff like that. It's really, really cool looking, and it's also got like a massive like swing arc. So this weapon is probably great against massive groups of enemies, although by the time I start fighting massive groups, I stop using it in this, so you'll only see me use it like here. The skills on it are so creative too, man, because this weapon isn't just limited to the blades, it's also like martial arts. And if you use any of the skills make the blades an independent attack that just goes to beat up the enemy by itself, basically. And then you're left with just a martial arts section, and this is really cool because there might be some enemies that you can't reach because you don't have a ranged attack at the moment, so you can use the skill of the Rune Blades to basically start like putting pressure on the enemy or just doing damage to them to finish them off while you get in range to like go finish them off with your MMA. I think it's genuinely a super cool weapon type, and it's probably the one you're going to see to use like the most when the game comes out. In fact, if you guys let me know what your favorite weapon type is going to be right now, because mine is still going to be Sword and Claw. Sword and Claw is my absolute favorite, but Rune Blades, very, very, very close second. And now my adventures of the Sunken City. The Sunken City was the main like major locale we could like go into for the preview area, and I've got to say it is pretty entertaining for an area that seems to be a first area. It's got like pretty decent enemy variety. It's got some really, really hard enemies, but that's like a usual thing with Code Vein, or hell, Souls games in general. Sometimes you'll just go to a corner because you just want to see what's there, and you'll find the hardest enemy in the section. This also has that. It has some ridiculous ones. If you guys played the Icy Mountains in Code Vein 1, I'm sure a lot of the enemies will remind you of a specific enemy you could find there, because some of these guys are just brutal. The first partner you'll be helping in this area, Yoshi, she is, I don't know how to describe her best. I'm gonna say she's like a mix of Yakumo because of her main weapon and her gameplay, and Murasame because obviously she's very small. She's not gonna be our big bro Yakumo, but she can provide the same support as big bro Yakumo. And honestly, I liked her a lot more than I thought I would. I understood that she was supposed to be like the smaller, tough kind of character, but she was still very charming, especially towards the end of her story. It's pretty tragic to see all the things that happen to her, but she is a very strong character, and I love her for it. Obviously, to represent her better, I start using the Greatsword a bit more here, and the Greatsword is honestly a weapon I didn't even touch once, I think, in regular Code Vein 1. I only touched it recently when I played the game like a few months ago, and I didn't really like, think it was the best event. But in Code Vein 2, I must say, my run of the Greatsword here against these two super hard enemies that you find in a corner, it's really good. The Greatsword, I'm going to say, is best used like the way you use it in Monster Hunter. You want to go for charged attacks with the Greatsword as much as possible because they are extremely rewarding. The charge process itself is pretty slow, but the deliverance of punishment is super fast, and it makes it worth going through those charge sequences. In fact, you can see that right here, because I cross a massive gap and do huge damage to the enemy by finishing my charge attack, and I'm actually blown away by the speed of the greatsword. You can see me in real time go, wait a minute, how fast does this swing? And I start just swinging it around because I'm curious at how quick the greatsword actually is. I was blown away by its speed and utility here, and I was thinking, wow, this is probably the best weapon in the game. And there's a very familiar enemy here, but something that is not very familiar is the Forme system. I didn't explain this earlier, but we have defensive and offensive Forme, and one of the offensive ones is a bow. Now, you guys will know a bow was not a weapon in Code Vein 1, but we got to use 2 offensive Forme here. We obviously know what a bow does. It's a long-ranged weapon, and the other one is kind of like a giant grind blade from Armored Core 5. But disregarding that, though, the backstab system is still the same in this game. It's very cool to see how it's done here, and I will say, I say it's the same, but it's actually slightly different. Usually before in Code Vein 1, when you backstabbed an enemy, it would just be one button. You press a button and it stuns the enemy and then automatically plays the next animation. But in Code Vein 2, when you press the stun, that's it. It's a real stun. You can also just follow up with a drain attack to actually do the full backstab animation, but you can really just do anything you want after the initial stun. And here is the bequeathed bow. God, I love this so much. In real time, you can see me notice that this has penetration. I'm hitting the guy behind this dude. Now, it is using up my I-core, and Big Bro was getting a little bit close, so you can see that I actually hang back because I'm not trying to get smashed into the corner here. Now I'm using the Blood Veil, although I should say, these are called jails now. They are no longer called blood veils. I'm probably still going to call them blood veils because I am too much of a mega fan. But I'm using one of the new blood veils here, Bat, and it's actually a blood veil that's a ranged attack. We do not have a ranged attack blood veil in Code Vein 1. We did have long-range blood veils, but we didn't have an actual projectile. This one is a full-on projectile, and it's really, really cool. After it hits the enemy, it like drains the I-core from them slowly while also doing damage because it's like damage over time. It's like, it's bats, it's vampires. It's really, really cool. I love it. Oh, I swapped to the second bequeath weapon here, so you guys actually get to see this one. Now, I'm not sure if there's another button I was supposed to press here, but this looks like it's supposed to be used against big groups because its AoE is enormous, but it also drains the life out of that man in one hit. I don't use the bequeath weapons that much because, again, they do cost I-core, and I prefer to use my I-core to buff myself or to give myself, like, you know, shields, give myself a dash, or maybe an emergency projectile. You know what I mean? That's the way I use them in Code Vein 1, so unfortunately, I don't use my bequeath weapon too much in Code Vein 2, but man, the weapon skills, oh my goodness gracious, man. See, that's the kind of stuff I want to use my I-core for. I want to use my I-core for the weapon skills because they're so goddamn cool in this game, dude. Like, a great example is that we actually have one of the boss's skills right away, like boom, that. There's a boss in Code Vein 1, he used that skill a lot, and my lord, it was annoying when he used that skill. But when you unlocked it for your character, hey, no complaints here. Here is another display of the bats. Boom. I will say, though, the bats actually has a unique feature. Even though it's a projectile, it does do more damage if the enemy is closer to you at the time of you firing the projectile. It also rewards you with more I-core back. So there's actually still an incentive to want to use it from close range, but it's still the actual projectile blood veil. So use it as a projectile. Even though it's stronger at close range, you could still very shamelessly just use this like a gun. Oh, and here's a sneak attack. Like an actual sneak attack. You could crouch up to enemies and just hit them with that. And then follow up with a drain attack. And the drain attack is unique depending on your blood veil. I tear this guy apart. Take all of his resources. Take all of his money. Take his brain too, apparently. And we just keep on moving. I think this is about the time I swapped to, yeah, the hammer. Now, I'm going to be real. The hammer is... I mean, dog, look at that. Look at this. Look at this. The hammer is crazy good. I am usually not like a super strength guy in games like Code Vein. I will always go full strength in like Dark Souls and Elden Ring 100%. But Code Vein, I usually don't go for like the biggest weapon available. Unless if it's like Mido's Greatsword, because that's just way too cool. But the hammer in this game, monstrous. The hammer in this game is crazy good. I really could just say every weapon in this game is really good, right? But I want to be honest, the hammer was exceptional. It felt very, very, very good to me. I'm not going to say it's super broken. I'm not going to say it's overpowered, but I was very surprised by the hammer. Because usually I feel like in most video games, the hammer ends up being like the greatsword, except slower because it's a hammer. In Code Vein 2, it actually does feel different to the greatsword class, and I appreciate that very much. Oh, it's also really fun to just like kind of one-tap enemies because obviously it's a giant hammer. So you could just like swing it and just blow people up. It's so absurdly satisfying, just exploding people with the hammer. It's just so peak, man. You can see how it specializes in big AoEs, whereas the great sword specializes in like range and attack damage. And oh yes, this is actually how we get to see the memories. Now, there are multiple things that trigger like the vestige memories in Code Vein 2. I'm not going to obviously mention all of them or talk about all of them in full detail, because even though I am allowed to show you guys these parts of the story, I kind of don't want to spoil it too much. I'll condense it as much as I can. Yoshi had a sister, a twin sister, Lisa, and Lisa and Yoshi, they basically both inherited like a bad eye, because you can see that they both wear eye patches. Their story is very, very sad, especially because since they're revenants, they have extremely long lifespans, and one of them got all the good genes and the other one kind of got all the bad genes, you know, Metal Gear Solid 1 type plot thing. Yoshi's a fighter, her sister isn't really much so, but you know, she does the best for a much stronger, capable sister. I think that story is really, really nice. I kind of don't want to spoil it, especially because of how it concludes with Yoshi at the end. She pushed everyone away from her, and she ends up being very lonely, is all I can say. It's bittersweet, but still sweet nonetheless. I saw this monstrous walkway and all of my senses activated. I literally stopped sprinting because I knew this was an amateur mistake pathway. A guy was going to shoot me the moment before I pick up the item. And what do you know? There he is. My gun is ready. I take him down before he can take me down. Fastest draw. And because of that, I get an item for free. I'm not going to lie. That was mostly a player experience part. I feel like if I was a new player, 100% he would have hit me. And I 100% would have died there. I also had my gun on standby because I was kind of worried something like this would just happen in general. But overall, the gun... it's insanely different from the way it was in Code Vein 1. The gun actually has ammo in this game. In Code Vein 1, I'm very sure you only just used Ichor for the bullets. In Code Vein 2, it has actual ammo. Now, you could still use Ichor for like super shots and special shots and all that cool stuff, right? But I'm actually just pleasantly surprised to say that the gun does have an ammo counter. It does have magazines. You do actually have to reload it when you empty the magazine. But you can also do really cool stuff like jump shooting and shooting from like much further away than I'm pretty sure you could in Code Vein 1. So you can actually play like a viable ranged class in this game with the way the guns work, right? I think that's actually cool, since Code Vein doesn't have like any magic staffs or anything like that, right? You could still just shoot magic. You guys just saw me use like ice bullets just now. But it's actually nice to see how much they've like improved the ranged superiority aspect of the game, because I feel like this game gets very sword focused. Not that there's anything wrong with that, most of these games are, but it's nice to see the gun get some love, because while it does have a bayonet on it, the whole point of a gun is to shoot people. So I'm glad that they improved the shooting people part. Yes, a big scary enemy over here. I actually only have one bullet left in my mag, and I only just realized that, so I reload at a really bad time where I take a big hit. But it's a-okay, it's fine. I actually had my shield up still to block damage from me. I actually do really love this like small shield like health bit you get. I think it's actually just really convenient in general. In this game, it's really, really cool. And combined, oh my god, the Scythe. I want to talk about the Scythe Blood Veil, but there's a part where I show off better. You know what I'm going to say about the Scythe now? The Scythe Blood Veil is actually a very good AoE Blood Veil, or jail, I guess, because that's what they're calling that, right? I think it'd be better against groups of enemies, because it is very, very quick and also has a massive swing arc. And also, if you guys have played Xenoverse 2, this is probably the best example I can give you. It also has a startup where you spin the Scythe, and I'm pretty sure that startup also does damage, just like in Xenoverse 2. So that is really cool to see. And oh yeah, look at that, man. You could just blast out bullets in this game like crazy. It's nothing like Code Vein 1. If you just want to blow people apart with the gun, you can. It's some really rapid fire action of this. You just go kablam, 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 and just like chunk health away. It's really, really cool. Again, I could just say all the weapons in Code Vein 2 are OP, but what I mean to say is that they're all just really, really fun to use. Again, I don't use stuff like hammers and guns in these kind of games, and I'm still impressed by how just absolutely, like, just splendid they feel to, like, use, you know? It's just pretty damn cool. Oh, yes, and Revival. I didn't even mention how Revival was different in this game. Now, I'm going to say, in this game, when you go down, your teammates revive you. But when your teammates revive you, they actually disappear for a bit, because they become one with you to get you back off of your feet. And then, obviously, when the cooldown for the revive is basically done, your teammates will just come back. Like, you could just see how Yoshi disappeared for a little bit, and then basically respawned when the cooldown was off. Reviving is entirely different in this game. What's the easiest way to describe it? I would say that basically it gets longer every time you die, and you also get less health back. every time you rise from the dead again. I do want to say that one of the strengths to this though is that I don't think your allies can mess up a revive in this game. Like, I don't think it's possible. I think revive is guaranteed in Code Vein 2 so long as your ally is like not being like thrown around all over the place, or so long as it's not like off cooldown, because it seems like an automatic process that happens after you get a certain way into your like defeat animation. Allies just become one with you and they get you back up from the ground. I will say, I had noticed I don't think I can revive my allies though. So unlike Code Vein 1, you won't have to be spending a lot of your own HP to revive your own allies. Your own HP and your iCore, by the way, that costed iCore to do back then as well. You won't be spending your HP or your iCore to revive your allies like in Code Vein 1. So it's kind of a one-way street now. Your allies are definitely way more support characters. I don't think they're going for the same thing as Code Vein 1, where your allies were definitely other characters who are supporting you. Your allies are support characters if they do support you. In fact, there's even a new system where you can fuse with your allies. This is unlike the revival. This is a genuine fusion where their stats become your stats, and you get bigger stats and greater abilities overall. Now, I didn't use it that much because I was really scared of fighting alone, because enemies like this exist, and I don't want to fight that alone. I don't use the fusion all too much, but oh, here's the dual sword. Dual sword, what do you think the dual sword's like? Do you wonder if the dual sword is really quick? Do you wonder if I can use it to dance through enemies like Captain Levi in Attack on Titan? Well, yeah, you can. I would say the dual sword is maybe one of my least favorite to use in the preview. Not because it's bad, just because I think it's the least fun. I'm not going to say the dual sword's bad at all. In fact, I don't think any of the weapons I tried here are bad. I think literally every single weapon is good. It's just that I do have favorites, and I have least favorites. And the dual sword happens to be one of my least favorites. Although, I will say, just like all the other weapons in this game, it doesn't seem like it's getting screwed over at all. It does seem to be pretty strong. So, yippee! And this is the final part of the level, I guess. This is the final part of the level. Not the boss, the level. It's one last phase in like an underground, like research wing kind of area where there's test tubes everywhere and enemies just waiting to pounce on you and attack you because they've been sealed, they've been trapped and betrayed for ages down here. And this part is pretty insane, but it's it was probably my favorite actual combat section in the entire preview. Now, this part is pretty crazy because I already know where to go. It's just there, but there's an enemy obviously standing there, and this room is still very big. So I'm like, you know what? Let's explore a little. And thankfully, from doing that, you can find out there are a bunch of other guys hiding in this room. I am very sure if you try to just rush Big Bro when he's standing by that red door, all of the others are going to jump you as well. So it's actually a good thing to want to, just check every nook and cranny. Just like in the Souls game, it doesn't hurt to just, check these corners, make sure nothing's going on, etc., right? You just want to be extra safe in scenarios like this. And oh my god, bro, the sword, the parry too. Oh my lord, bro. I gotta say, the parry in this game, I'm not gonna lie, it's way harder to do than in Code Vein 1. Code Vein 1's parry is kind of easy. It has extremely awkward timing, but it's very easy once you know the timing. Code Vein 2 parry, super hard. Very, very hard. I don't even think you get a guaranteed drain attack at the end of the parry animation anymore. It does seem to stun enemies for a very long time, so it has its uses. But I prefer the shield because, and now I need to talk about defensive former because I didn't even mention defensive former. I mentioned offensive former earlier, and I forgot to mention defensive ones like an idiot. We have multiple defensive former in the game. So far, there was 3 in the previews. One of them is a genuine shield, not a guard with your sword, like an actual shield. And this shield is really good. You can also perfect guard with it to reduce damage taken for a brief moment, and also to make sure that you don't lose basically all your stamina when you guard an attack. I think that's extremely cool. Then you have the parry, which is, guys, we know what a parry is in a video game, come on. And then the last one is Umbral Shift. Umbral Shift is basically a super dodge. It's a nice super dodge, but it didn't feel like it was that reliable. It might be better for speed or distance rather than for actually avoiding damage. More so like if an enemy does a big AoE that you know you can't iframe through, that's when you want to use it. Speaking of using, I think this is the first time I get to see the Reaper Blood Veil cinematic, and look at this dude. Oh my goodness gracious. The other guy was blowing up in the background. He wanted to photo bomb real quick, literally. But the Reaper Blood Veil is really cool to me, and I think this is where I use it the most by far. By the way, oh my goodness, that would have just killed me, like normally. I am so glad that Yossi was there on standby with the instant revive. And you can see how quick that she cooled down because it was the first time I died after touching a mistle. For those of you guys who don't know, mistles are like bonfires or like graces for people who haven't even played Dark Souls 3 but have played Elden Ring. It's so weird. The games are so old now that that's an actual possibility. So yeah, this whole area really lets me, I think honestly, I get flexing here because there's a lot of pretty hard enemies in this section, and I really use my my kit to the fullest. I won't lie, I get hit a lot here. But I think I do my best, especially when it comes to how tough some of these enemies are. Like this psychopath has like a really quick, yeah, like dude, the first fireball was so slow, it made me go, oh, okay, her projectiles are slow. Then she hits me with like Vegeta's technique and then a follow-up attack at the end. It spooked the hell out of me. I wasn't ready for that. If it wasn't for Yossi's support, I'd be smoked. I'd be cooked, dude. So massive shout out to her. I really wanted to fuse with her here, but again, the enemies are so scary. I was like, I don't know if I want to be alone right now. You know, I imagine against enemies that it's better to 1v1 them, like it's better to not have a distraction. That's when fusion would obviously come up more. A great example is you should probably use fusion in boss fights, because enemies getting distracted on your allies in boss fights, major boss fights, I mean, it doesn't really help you too much, and you guys will see what I mean when we get to the absolute scale of some of these bosses, because oh my god, they do be attacking everywhere. For now, though, super hard enemies to take down and lots to earn from the secrets that they hold behind them. I love Code Vein 2 so much, man. Oh my god. Every single time I like boot up like my Xbox or like my PC, because those are the two systems I own Code Vein 1 on, I want to play it so bad, but I'm not even kidding when I say that Code Vein 2 blows Code Vein 1 out of the water, that I can't even play Code Vein 1. Like, it's not that I get into Code Vein 1, I can't even turn it on, because my body stops me from doing it, because I'm like, no, just wait for the second one, Steve. Be patient. Be patient. So I'm doing my best to be patient here. We'll take care of the small fry, then we'll go on to the last combat room, and then I want to show you guys the two boss fights, because both these boss fights are super fun. I love the music in them. I love the design of the bosses overall, not just how they look, but the feel of their combat. All of that's really, really cool. So we're gonna, like, you know, just basically like go through these real quick. I haven't used the Fawn Blood Veil yet, so I'm showcasing it off a bit here. If you guys have not played Good Vid 1, Fawn Blood Veil was the original like long-range Blood Veil. Now we have Bats. I wouldn't lie, this still has way more range, but Bats is an actual projectile. So you can see, this is crazy, man. You can basically set up traps, just nuke enemies of this. And another thing that makes the Fawns so good is that when you're playing co-op, like with other players, you could be sitting in the back just blowing enemies up with Fawns. It's really, really fun. Especially when you have characters like, oh no, I'm thinking of EO again. I miss EO so much. But when you have Fawns like EO on your team, she would actually use the Fawns as a long-range attack. And it was just so satisfying, man. But yeah, final combat room. The enemies are getting absolutely crazy with some of their attacks. And I think, yeah, opportunity here to aura farm. Dude, I don't know why my character's aura farming that much. Like, all you had to do was just like stab them normally. He like turned his back to them. He hit like a pose and everything just to do that. Like, actual menace, genuine demon. And this enemy, oh my lord, this enemy. So we just faced it in water. Somehow, now that I'm not being debuffed by the water or slowed down, this enemy gives me way more trouble. I'm just shocked by how scary this one is. It might be because it's using a different weapon type overall, but those like ranged blood slashes, that was too much to bear. It's like, it's too scary. I revive, I run away right away, trying to find the way to heal. It pokes me, then it throws waves at me, and that's my first actual death. My first actual you lose in Code Vein 2. It took me the literal final enemy, by the way. The literal final enemy before the boss to get my first you lose screen in Code Vein 2. And honestly, you know what? I'm going to take some pride in that. Now, we're just going to skip to, obviously, when I fight it the second time and when I beat it. And then we'll go on to the bosses. My salty rematch. This enemy will no longer give me trouble. I have now learned all of its moves. I've become a master of facing the beast itself. And I also will actually remember to use my skills because they do huge damage. I want to say this now. Don't be like me in Code Vein 2. Please use your skills. They are very, very good. They weren't bad in Code Vein 1, but they are much better in Code Vein 2 because the hard enemies are harder. So, yeah, please use your skills. Now, instead of just going straight to the boss like a normal human being would do, I actually explored the rest of this area because, you know, there's nothing wrong with just looking for items. I just wanted to see if there was anything lying about, any other secret, new, cool enemy placements. And I think there are some stuff here that's not entirely opened up yet. Maybe in the full game will be open. So obviously, I didn't really have to come here and kill every guy, but you know, it's a video game, and one of my options is to destroy all my enemies. So I am destroying all of my enemies. Oh, full damage is actually still in this. So that guy, he just disappears. Seeing him die to that fall made me go, aha, I see. So what you're saying is that I shouldn't fall, because if I do, it's Jova. Because it's nice to see. You know, after playing so much Elden Ring, you get kind of used to just falling from whenever you want, especially Elden Ring Night Rain. You fall from wherever you want, you're okay. And obviously, I'm playing another Bandai Namco Souls game here. I would think, oh, let me just jump from up here, I'll be fine. No, I don't take that risk. Don't take that risk, bro. So, yeah, I take this guy out. Still using the Reaper Blood Veil because I think it's honestly just really, really cool. It's just like a mega aura Blood Veil, to be honest. But I do go back to old reliable claws, especially when we get to the boss here, because this boss is a very spicy boss.
久しいな。また会えて嬉しいぞ。残死となっても姿はあの時のまま。あの日失ったもの、奪われたもの、その全てに代償を払ってもらう。
Now, when I say I was not ready for this boss, I was not ready for this boss, bro. In more ways than one, as you can see, because this boss is doing crazy moves the literal start of the fight. I was not thinking that this would go on for this long or do this much damage. It's very, very different. For the first boss, at least in this demo, that you fight, that's a Code Vein boss, I was not expecting this level of craziness. I'm not sure what I would describe this particular boss as a mix of. I'm gonna say, off of the limb, because I'm feeling very stupid and I'm having a hard time thinking of examples right now, it doesn't feel much like a Code Vein boss, if that makes any sense. It feels like a mix of a Monster Hunter boss and a Night Rain boss. And I like that. I like that. I think that's actually good, by the way. I don't think that's a bad thing. This boss is very, very cool. Probably, if I was to rank it compared to like the Code Vein 1 bosses, it'd be like top 3 already. It's just a very fun, satisfying fight, especially with all the new gameplay features, like the wounds mechanic. I haven't even talked about all the different damage types. I'm actually maxing out my fraudulence right now. Okay, drain attacks. Those are things that, you know, your jails use. They're really cool because they give you Ico back. We do have wound and bleed from physical weapons. The weapons you actually use, they put these scars all over the enemy, and when those scars hit their max, it can actually stagger the enemy, as well as give you, like, you know, Ico back too from the big explosion of the wounds. And I think that's really, really cool. And then also the bequeathed weapon for me, they also do a unique damage type. If I recall, it wasn't just the bequeathed weapon for me, it's also the offensive for me. But yeah, this fight's chaotic, man. Even watching it back, absolutely crazy fight. It's one of those boss fights that when you're doing it, you're like, how the hell am I gonna kill this thing? It has so much health and it does so much damage. But just like cavemen back in the day, we have to surpass our limits. Wait, I'm referencing Black Clover now. We have to, you know, surpass our limits. We just have to do the task that's in front of us, even if it seems Herculean. Although I am completely out of healing items and I do not know this boss's moveset, so you will see me get smoked by that attack. Oh my god. But you know what the funniest part is? It literally took one try. It took one try. Because on the second try, I'm awake. Now, yes, I make a lot of dumb mistakes. You can see me get hit by stuff that comes from a zillion miles away. But it only took me one to try to get the hang of this boss. And honestly, I'll glaze myself. You guys can also feel free to glaze me in the comment section down below. I wouldn't mind that. But I am very proud of myself, at least in this boss fight. Because on my second attempt of it, I'm like, okay, I kind of get how its animations work. I kind of get how the moves look now. You know, I know when to use my skills, when to use my drain attacks. So that way everything actually connects. For example, this fire explosion wasn't really aimed around the boss's body. It was aimed forward. This is when I start to realize that the fire explosion attack, it kind of has like a preset location as to where the boss is going to spawn it. And that spawn was not around its body at all. I could have really just beat it up there. My god, those animations are so intense, dude. And there's me missing the drain attack. I quickly learned that there are certain angles I should actually be doing the drain attack from, aka not like where I'm gonna miss the entire torso and both the arms. Oh man, but this is it's such a great boss design. Like, fight design great, physical design amazing. I love the physical design of this boss. And then obviously, like, gameplay wise, like the dance, you incorporate dodging its attacks, getting the openings after the like, you know, avoiding the slams and stuff like that. All just so absurdly satisfying, especially when you can make all of these combine into like stuns and staggers. It's just it's breathtaking. It's beautiful. It blows me away. The back half of the boss does give acid. Acid is basically poison, but you know what? I get a big drain attack here. Yeah. And honestly, these drain attacks on these bosses are so special to me, man. Not only do you get the cool, unique animations for them, you just feel so cool landing like you get to put physical hands on these enemies. You literally get to you put hands on them and just beat them up. And the animations for bosses when you do these special drain attacks is so different. I'm going to spoil the mood by telling you I only show off with the claws, because I did not use other jails when I was fighting the bosses. I'm so sorry. I was just using my main one again because I like it. But you know what? If I get any more Code Vein 2 previews, I will gladly flex the things I did not flex here. I will do much more aura farming. All right? Aura farming is very essential. We need to do that more. Yoshi saves my life again there because I get absolutely floored by that slam attack. And here, I think, is where I begin to hit my maximum lock-in, because the boss has about half of its health left, and it's gonna hit like its third phase very soon. The next time it does its big roar, and I get so much damage on the boss here. I think I really just start going crazy with my abilities. It's a mix of my abilities here and just making sure to actually mash when mashing is needed, because you get some pretty glorious windows to go ham. And you can see I put scars all over its body. It's looking kind of critical. If we can get a big hit here, it's going to take lots of damage, and I'm going to get a lot of resources back from it. These are the kind of times where you do just want to go in. And here I notice, hey, the explosion is kind of away from the boss, so it wouldn't be too bad to walk in and just try and get some quick licks in and, you know, trigger a stagger, get some more damage. And you can see how this all pays off, man. The boss is even trying to heal some of the health back. You can see at the top, and boom, it actually did heal the health back when it reached its third phase, because enemies in this game actually do have a healing mechanic, which is pretty interesting. It's kind of tied to rage mode. If they're lower on health, they can sometimes heal off some of the recent damage they took, so you want to beat them up as soon as possible. Not a lot of enemies did it in this preview, which is why I think I forgot to mention it, but bosses do it, and it's very special when they do it because they can actually get back a ton of health doing it. So right now I have 0 healing items. Yoshi's already revived me, I think twice, so if I go down again, it's gonna take quite a bit. And now I also have acid on me, which is draining my shields. The shields are actually called, like, I think link points. It's basically a health you share with the AI. And I think the link point health would change if you have a higher max HP or if you're with a different partner. Mine is just kind of baseline because, I mean, I'm using the first partner, so it's baseline, right? It's not like a massive, like, link point, like, shield HP thing. But yeah, it's nice to see. It's just it's a nice to have a shield that does block damage for you for the first half of your HP, because you would be getting one shot a lot of the time if you didn't have that. Fun fact. Very funny. Oh, so yeah, there's her second down, and I used this opportunity to farm more aura. Boom! Get 2 big drain attacks here, and he's giving me pretty much all my Ico back, which allowed me to use both my skills back to back and finish her off for good. That is what makes a happy camper, man. Mutagen Remnant, honestly, one of my favorite bosses in the game. I wanted to make this comment sooner, but it felt inappropriate. Mutagen makes me think of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. That's it. That's just there you go. That's your stupid Steelage comment of the day. I'm thinking of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Were you guys thinking I was going to talk about something else? What do you guys think I was going to say when I was saying that was inappropriate? I'm curious. What came to mind? But yeah, this is the end of Yosei's story. And again, I don't want to spoil the story too much for a lot of you enjoyers. I will just be moving on to the finale, and the finale also has to do with Yosei. This part is basically a spoiler anyways of the story, but it's how you're going to see the second boss. So fair warning, if you don't want to get spoiled, this is your chance to bow out. But before you do that, leave a like and subscribe. And without further ado, on to the second boss. So yes, the boss here is Yosei herself, and her weapon that she's using here as the boss, I'm pretty sure it's a human bequeathed weapon. You can actually see her use this a few times in like gameplay. I didn't mention it because I'm stupid, but you actually can see her use this katana multiple times, even with the same quick draw attack. When she's actually fighting along your side, and she can still do this when you summon her, like basically after this point in the story, right? So that's very, very cool. Obviously, I cannot bring Yosei to fight Yosei. In case if any of you guys are wondering, no, that does not make sense, so it can't happen. This is just a very insane boss overall. I think I do pretty good for my first attempt. Jesus Christ, that attack still scares me. I think I do pretty good for my first attempt, especially because I have no idea what's going on. Now, I do want to say this boss is blind. You can actually see her just swing in the wrong direction sometimes. But her swing arcs are so big, she usually ends up hitting you anyways, which is a nice way to keep up the idea that the boss is blind, but also have them actually still be a threat that can see you and hit you in gameplay. So, that's pretty cool. Yeah, she's very, very strong. You can see me and Lou, we're doing colossal damage there. We've got a big damage window on her there. But she's one of these bosses that you do have to, like, pay attention. You can't just spam your stamina away, because look at that, bro. Scary, scary moves. We got some scary moves over here. And oh, is this the draw again? No, it's the bind. Okay, so I actually perfect blocked that one. You can see that my guard didn't break. I got genuine perfect guard there against the bind. I didn't get binded, and my guard didn't break either. So that's pretty cool. She is very, very tanky. To be fair, slow moving boss, so they knew to obviously give her HP. And I believe this was actually the moment to get a critical attack. I'm just dumb, so I just didn't do it. But that was my moment to get a critical. I just didn't do it because I are a little bit stupid. But thankfully, we actually get the phase 2. And I will be talking over the phase 2 this time because I do have lots to say about this phase transition and about basically how hard this boss becomes in the second phase. This is actually pretty spooky. Now, this is one of the things that I didn't actually get to experiment more with. I should have seen how the bequeathed weapon interacted with her in particular, because bequeathed weapons, I do believe, are things that other heroes use, and that's how you unlock them. For example, the katana, right? You see her use it when she's in human mode, and when she's a boss, she's also still using the same katana. So I do believe that bequeathed weapons probably would have had some sort of special or unique or beneficial interaction against these kind of bosses or bosses of this type. So yeah, I should have used them more. That's my one regret with the gameplay. But this second phase is absolutely crazy. In fact, this is a part where I get one shot from full health through my shields, by the way. And yeah, that move got way stronger. So she stomps before she does the quick draw now, and the main purpose of that stomp isn't to damage you, but to spread binds all over the arena. And she just healed, because that's what that roar does. She just healed. Absolutely crazy work. Lu sacrifices herself to heal me, but I'm gonna be real. I'm gonna be so real. I go all the way back up to like full HP. And look at this. I want you to soak in how crazy this is. You ready? I dodge that. I get stunned by the bind, and I lose my life. One hit. One freaking hit, dude. And then she kills me right away on wake up. Actually spooky. Actually spooky. I'm all alone again. I feel so bad for her. I actually do. Now, I think I lose to this boss like 2 more times, but I'm gonna be real. I'm not showing you that. I'm not showing you that, dude. We're just gonna cut straight to the run where I actually win. It's a boss that I got used to, I think pretty quickly, to be honest. But again, Jesus Christ, the way she runs in sometimes. But again, it is a preview boss. As usual, the full game will be way harder. I remember this being the case like pretty much every time without fail in all of these. So boom. Oh my goodness, that bind is so scary. Bind is a good example of what I mean of when to use the defensive form, a Umbral Shift. Because while blocking is obviously very good in this fight, she breaks your guard in like 1 hit. So if you don't perfect guard literally everything, you're kind of just asking for trouble. Which you probably don't want, because look how much damage she does. So I think Umbral Shift is actually good in this fight because her hits pass over you so quickly that you don't really need a ton of iframes to avoid them. But you want to get out of the range of her bind, and especially, yeah, that charging move as well. Sometimes iframes aren't enough to cut it because it's a stomp and a stab at the same time, which is just devilish. Absolutely devilish. So yeah. I think here, yeah, dude, I just barely block that strike. But here is when I think I get a pretty good counterattack on her. I'm able to land both my skills and the critical attack. And I really maximize my damage to basically hasten that phase transition into the final phase. And there she is activating her Blood Rage mode, where she's going to heal and do even more damage. Like she needs any more... Like you need any more damage, you stingy, stingy, evil hero. That bind is crazy. Oh my goodness gracious. I don't remember if bind it was in the first game, and if it was, I don't remember it being that scary. Like at all. The bind in this game reminds me of, oh god, this is how you know I'm just referencing anything, bro. The bind in this game reminds me of bind in Digimon World 4. If you got binded, you are just dead, bro. You are cooked. But here we go. Here's where we get the drain attack. And you can see getting even one of those drain attacks pushes the health all the way down for these bosses. So you kind of, there's actually an incentive to be hyper aggressive, so that way you can stagger and down bosses more often to land more drain attacks, because more the drain attacks that you land, the more Ico you get back. So yeah, I skipped that cutscene this time around because there's a skip button in this game. This game is not a fan of wasting your time, so that's pretty cool. How if you're redoing something, you can just go, hey, I've seen this before, let's get through this one. So yeah, phase 2, this time I'm, despite what it looks like, okay, I'm being serious. Despite what it looks like, this time I'm actually paying attention. I'm actually locked and loaded. I'm keeping an eye out for these things. So when she goes for her big move here, I get binded, but I'm much further away, so her sword draw wouldn't even hit from this far away, which is good. She just cancels the sword draw and instead goes on to do a really annoying, stupid, like, acid attack. Gah! Kill me! And then she falls to the ground. allowing me to get closer to fulfilling her wish, but she has a lot of HP, so it's gonna take a bit, man. It's gonna take a bit. And the music, oh my goodness. You can actually hear some of the motifs from the successor theme inside V's themes. So what I'm thinking is that V's heroes, the fallen heroes, the corrupted heroes, basically, I think they're gonna be this game's equivalent of the successors. And you'll see even more why at like the very end here. First, the hyper aggressiveness of her just stomping around everyone, swinging her sword and dashing around and running around like a goddamn creature. But thankfully, she's not moving long enough for me to get some pretty delicious final hits, especially because Phantom Assault, bro, I love what they did to Phantom Assault in this game. It's literally just a long-range teleport. That is so unbelievably keen. And then she falls. Now, the part here of the ending cutscene will not be my gameplay, mostly because when I beat it, I recorded it right away. Because apparently, I was one of the only 2 people on the on-site preview that actually beat this thing, and that made me feel like a little bit glazed. So this point forward is going to be the footage that was provided to us, and it will actually allow you guys to see the rest of the cinematic. And now, again, I won't be showing all of it because one, it's story spoilers, and 2, I actually want you guys to see these stories yourself, not just through me obviously, but through the actual game when it releases on January 30th. You could see here in this cinematic, Yoshi does try to embrace us one last time before she does fade away. Now, again, I've said this like in Code Vein 1, I do believe that these guys are our equivalents of the successors now in Code Vein 2, and if you've played Code Vein 1, you know what that means. We can definitely, most likely, save these people. We don't have to have them die, we don't have to have them meet this tragic fate, and that means that this game also has multiple endings, just like Code Vein 1. Because there's going to be a normal ending, there's going to be one where you kill all of the people, and then there's most likely going to be one when you save all of the people and you get to fight a true super unique boss at the end. Like the what was the final boss in Code Vein 1 called? It was called like the Virgin or something. Yeah, for those of you guys who remember, please leave it down below in the comment section. And I think this is a great place to end the video. I am so unbelievably glad that I get to share Code Vein footage with you. Again, massive shout out to the Bandai Namco. This is literally not even slightly a dream without them, right? Bandai Namco invited me to play this, and I'm so glad because I love Code Vein so much. Getting to play Code Vein 2 is an experience. Getting to share it is an even greater experience. I'm glad I can be, like, if I let even one more person, like if I'm the reason even one more person buys Code Vein 2, massive W in my opinion. So yeah. That's a good place to end the video. Final things to say. I do hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, then obviously again, please leave a like on the video. Don't forget to subscribe, it greatly supports the channel. And I want to say thank you to you guys and thank you to Bandai Namco. Thank you to Bandai Namco for obviously allowing me to play this because again, I love Code Vein. And thank you to you guys because if it wasn't for you guys to begin with, I wouldn't even have a platform that would allow me to play Code Vein 2 early to show you guys to begin with. So we help each other out. Thank you so much, everyone. I do love you all. Hope you all enjoyed. And I will see you fellas all next time. Take care and peace.